This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Oh, it's time to lay down, go to sleep, and have some really nice dreams. But while we're dreaming, people are going to be trying to tell us what our dreams are in When I Dream. This is a sort of a party social deduction game for 4 to 10 players. It's pretty quick, 20 minutes-ish to play the game. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In When I Dream, each player is going to get a chance to be the dreamer. When you're the dreamer, you put this mask on and you can't see anything. Everybody else is going to be one of 3 roles secretly. Nobody will know. If you're a fairy, you're on the good team, you're trying to get the dreamer to guess correctly. If you're the imp, you're on the bad team, you're trying to get them to guess incorrectly, but not too obviously being the bad person. And if you're the trickster, you're trying to get them to be equal between how many cards they get correct and incorrect. So you essentially will be switching roles in the middle of the round. Now, depending on the amount of players, you'll have a certain amount of fairies, imps, and tricksters, as you see here. At the beginning of the round, one player is wearing that mask. The roll cards will be shuffled. One will be discarded face down, and everyone else will get a roll. They'll look at it, they know what they're doing. A timer will be ready. The timer, I believe it is 2 minutes long. And then what happens is there's good and there's bad. So what will happen is you will decide which side to use, the top or the bottom. Top's good for kids if it's your first time playing. The bottom ones are a little bit harder. So what's going to happen is, starting to the left of the dreamer, we'll flip this up and everyone will be quiet except one player. They give a one-word clue. So if you're a fairy and you want them to get this correct, you might say blue. And the next player, if they're a fairy, might say stars. And they're going to say one-word clues that are trying to get them to say sky. If you're a bad player, you're trying to throw some discourse in there and confuse them without it being obvious. Because if it's obvious, then they probably won't listen to you for the rest of the round. So they might say things like orange, thinking, hey, the first person said blue, I'll say orange. It might throw them off. If you're a trickster, you're trying to essentially either be good or bad. I'll go into more of that in just a moment. Now, when they guess, essentially, it will go around up to 2 or 3 rounds. Everyone will have 2 or 3 words that they can say one at a time in clockwise. And if they get through all the rounds, we stop and then they try to guess this. Or they can guess at any point in time. If they guess it correctly, we put it here. If they guess it incorrectly, we put it here. Either way, we do not tell that player where they got it correct. Now we flip up the next one. Let's say she got it correct. Now when this comes up, the good people are always trying to be good, the bad people are trying to be bad. The tricksters now are trying to keep them even. So right now, the tricksters are trying to make them misguess boar so that these piles are even. Then when the next card comes up, the tricksters could go either way. Let's say it goes here, and then they're trying to be bad again. So they're trying to be good and bad depending on what they see and what they guess. Once the 2 minutes is up, we stop. Before the player takes this mask off, we ask them, replay your dream. Tell us all the ones that you got right. And they might say, hey, I was looking into the sky. I saw a chicken that laid an egg. And if they say them both, they'll make up sort of a story to go along with it. They'll get an additional point. If not, they don't. Then we go around and the guesser and the fairies will each get 1 point for each good guess. So they'd all get 2 points. The bad players would get as many that are here. That's 2. The tricksters, it depends. If it's within 1 card of the other side, they'll get the card, the amount of points of the one that has the more cards. In this case, it's even. They'd both get 2, plus they'll get 2 bonus points for keeping them even. Points are given out in chips like this. The next player will put this mask on. Once everybody's worn the mask once, the game's over. You count up all your points. Whoever has the most is the winner. And if there's a tie, whoever told the best dream story at the narration point won. Now, I'm a pretty big fan of social deduction games. I also like games that are sort of different and party-ish and stuff, and this fits both those molds, but I didn't know what to think about the game when I first got it, but I gotta tell you, this game is really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Just putting the blindfold on and listening to other people give you clues is just an interesting experience in itself. But the fact that you're trying to guess what these people are saying to you with their one-word clues sort of feels a little bit like Codenames, a little bit there. They're giving you one-word clues, you hear them going around, you're trying to, what are they talking about? But the fact that some of them are trying to get it right, that some of them are trying to make you get it wrong, and some of them are flip-flopping makes it even more interesting because you're listening to the clues and you're going, okay. And as the cards go through the 2 minutes, you're like, wait a minute, these two people are making no sense every time. I'm just going to like block them out and skip over them. But with those tricksters that are jumping back and forth, those ones really confuse you, but it's really fun to try to figure out what they're saying. And then at the end, trying to remember which ones you think you got right because you don't know, another cool mechanism. The fact that everyone is secret, nobody knows who is who as it's going on is really cool. The fact that the player doesn't know if they're getting them right or not is cool. And at the end, people flip them over and you score points, and it's just fun. It's quick. Every player just plays one round as the blindfolded person. And it's a lot of fun. Even making up the dreams at the end, some people will like it, some people won't. If the people that don't like it, they could just name them off. Overall, I was very impressed with this game. This is going to go on my short list for the games that I'm going to take to new parties and for gamers because it's quick, it plays a lot of players, and it's really fun and unique. I don't have anything quite like this in this genre. I think it's going to come out a lot because it has a large player count. Now, I will say the only player count, with 4, I did not enjoy it as much because there's only one fairy, and if that happens to be the card that's discarded, then the person has the blindfold on, is listening to one player giving the wrong answer and 2 other players jumping back and forth, and it becomes a very confusing game at that point. I didn't like it with 4 that much. The rest of them are fun. With 10, obviously the game's going to be a lot longer, but overall, it's really fun. It's a ton of fun. This one I highly recommend, and I like it so much, and it's so unique, I'm gonna be keeping it in my gaming library, and for that, let's induct it properly with a saxophone serenade. This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter and making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.